Uh, we are actually going to be having this live stream for the next 75 days. So if you haven't subscribed or followed us, please do that right now to stay updated and get the latest and the bestest uh, tools, resources, walkthroughs, guides, tutorials on the topics of AI, entrepreneurship, digital marketing, and so on and so forth. So, hope you're excited for today's live stream, because today the topic that we have chosen is how do you actually build a content pipeline alongside an editing pipeline on this amazing tool called Notion. So, how many of you actually use Notion? Type in the chat and let me know if you are someone who uses Notion. And this tool is actually like something that has really changed my entire life for the good. If you have something which is better than Notion, do let me know the same in the chat as well. So, people who are excited for today's live stream, why don't you start and show me your interest by typing in excited in the chat? Let's get this live stream up and running. We have close to about 1 hour to actually build all of these pipelines, and it's going to be really filled with value, and I hope you will be able to implement it in your life, in your business, in your content creation journey. And if you do that, please ensure to let me know that there was some value I was able to add to all of you all. So if you're excited, type excited in the chat wherever you're watching us. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. So let's start jumping into the main juicy stuff. I'm going to quickly take my tab here because that's what I use to show representations of how I think, what I think on any particular given topic while in these live streams. So today is live stream day 05. Oops, let's begin. So what exactly is a pipeline? I am pretty sure all of you know, you would have seen a normal pipe. So what happens in a pipe? This is how the pipe would look. And then something enters the pipe here, travels through, and then maybe you have like a small tap over here. Okay, and you switch it on and then water starts flowing out of it. But the important factor that most of the people forget, okay, which is what are you feeding inside? Like when we talk about a content creation pipeline, what exactly does that mean in the context of how would you actually create a content creation pipeline? So what's happening is there's an idea that is being fed into this particular pipeline, and the output that we get is a piece of content. Okay, that I hope that makes sense. But this idea has to go through a lot of changes in between to actually transform and become this amazing piece of content, which is then shared on a social media platform or maybe used to create a course or something of that nature, right? So what are these changes? What do we call these changes altogether? We are going to look into that today, and these are basically status changes. Okay, and when these changes are happening, there are some properties of the idea that are also changing. So this idea, it has a certain number of properties, and these properties need to be captured as well. So all of this is possible. You can do all of this in this amazing tool called Notion. What I'm going to do before I jump into Notion is I'm going to actually walk you through how exactly you can use Notion, okay? The basics of Notion, how to use it, and how to set it up to actually make the most of it. And you don't need to pay anything. This is completely free of cost. Notion is a free tool, although there are paid plans for teams, but you can absolutely use it for free as well. So let's jump into Notion. So what you see right here is basically branding bumps content pipeline. What happens is there are certain status changes that happen. There's an idea which is then picked up, which then changes the property to next up, and then it becomes an idea that I want to actually start writing or researching about. And from there, it becomes a idea that we want to record as a team, and then it goes to editing and so on and so forth. So I'm going to actually take you through my own personal content pipeline. But before that, let's open a new page trying to understand how exactly Notion works and what are the different building blocks of Notion. Okay. So there are like majorly a few categories within Notion that we need to look into. Okay, let me just keep my tab on the side. So when you open Notion, you're going to land on this kind of a page. It's going to be a plain, simple, white page with almost nothing. It's going to be a blank page. So this is the title of the page. So I'm going to just, for demo purposes, use some funny names. Let's try to find out some names. Uh, so this is the name of our page, Bummerboo, and we can actually convert this page into a table, or we can convert it into a board, like you must have seen Trello, or you might have used Trello, which looks something like this. I'm going to show you Trello as well. So if you see, Trello has these kind of boards. This is also like a pipeline. Things keep, you can move things from one pipeline to another. So this is called a Kanban board. So Notion offers the flexibility of converting the page into a board. You can have a list, you can have a timeline, you can also have a calendar or a gallery. Now the beauty of Notion is all of these are interchangeable. Let's say you created a table, you can change the view of that table into a board or a list or a timeline or a calendar or a gallery. And I'm going to very quickly share with you how you can do all of that in a minute. So let's start with an empty page. And once you start with an empty page, what you do is you use a forward slash, and then you have a lot of different blocks that appear. So there are two types of major blocks. First one is the basic blocks. So in basic blocks, you have text, page, to-do list, headings, tables, list, quotes, dividers, a link to a page within Notion, or a call out. And then you have AI as well. And then you have like these media blocks where you can embed images, videos, audios, code, files, etc. And then you have the database, which are basically the same database but with different views. You can create it. So you can have a table view, a board view, a gallery view, list view, calendar, timeline, database, inline, database full page, or a linked view of a database. I'm going to very quickly touch upon what all of this mean. And then you have some AI blocks, and then you have these advanced blocks, which are basically table of contents, breadcrumbs. You can have like custom automations that you can run within Notion using AI. You can have like toggle headings, you can have columns, and then you have even a lot of different inline blocks or inline elements, as we call it. And then you have embeds. You can embed like any kind of file, PDF, maps, websites. You can actually embed an entire website if that website allows embedding. Okay, you can embed framer prototypes. So what exactly happens is Notion is an entire operating system, just like Windows or Mac OS or Linux. Notion is in itself an entire operating system. But the beauty of Notion is it is highly flexible. because it's so flexible. You can actually build any kind of a operating system customized to your requirements and needs. It's not going to be bulky, it's going to be very very seamless and very very customized and very minimal, because you can actually customize it, right? So you don't actually have to, when you start you have this blank page, so you can actually create this page in such a way that there is not a lot of bulk in there, and it is very very minimal, and you can directly start optimizing your day-to-day life. You can improve your productivity, you can track your projects, you can literally build apps, websites also on Notion. That's actually an advanced user case. So let me share this amazing story about Notion. Actually, when Notion was launched initially, the founders had this idea that they are going to make Notion as an app which could be used to build other apps for productivity or project management and things of that nature. But then what they noticed is most of the audience was starting to use Notion for note taking. So they did a pivot, they changed their entire strategy, and they started focusing on college students and people who need note taking as the primary problem that they're trying to solve. And their agenda was that if people start adopting and using Notion, let's say for projects, for keep making notes and sharing notes and stuff like that, at one point of the time when they finish college and they join a company and they start working there, they're still going to be used to Notion. So they might then start understanding what are the different use cases and how they can evolve their systems in such a way that Notion can be integrated in their existing or newer systems. And as a result of that, they will be able to capture a bigger market. So that strategy, as we see today, has worked absolutely in the favor of Notion, and it has completely landed them at a point where I think, actually, let's not just think, let's actually get the straight facts here. So Notion valuation 2023. Let's see what's the valuation currently. Wow. It's valued at a 10 billion estimation. Okay, 10 billion US dollars. That's the current valuation. And it was launched in the year of June 2018. So that's almost just 5 years. And within 5 years, this company has reached a mark of $10 billion of valuation. Now, from that, you can understand at what scale companies are adopting this absolutely amazing beauty of a beast. So let's quickly make like a small page here to just explore different blocks within Notion. Hello world. So what I'm going to do is forward slash, and I'm going to take a page and I'm going to write the name of that page as hello world. And I'm going to, after that, write this is a white page and it seems boring, but it is interesting. So what I can do is I can convert this particular whatever page I had created. I can have unlimited number of pages inside pages, or I can have pages inside databases, or I can have databases inside of pages. So that's the beauty of Notion as well. It's highly, highly flexible. So I'm going to change that page into a text if I would like, or I can change that into a heading if I would like. And then I can just click here and I can hit the tab button. Let's say I change this into a text and then I take this and I can hit tab. I can change this into a toggle and I can put that inside a toggle, or if I would like I can turn it into a page again. So this kind of flexibility was not offered by any other tool when Notion was launched. This was like the most highly versatile tool. I think I joined Notion in somewhere about June, July 2018. I was one of the beta users of Notion. So I've been using Notion from quite some time now. So now these are the basics, and I would recommend that because we have like limited time of this particular live stream, what I would suggest is what you can do Go back. There are lots of videos on Notion. Notion itself has its own knowledge base. Go explore Notion, learn more about it, and see how you can create your own unique operating system, or you can start to mend it and customize it so that it becomes a useful tool in your day-to-day operations. So now let's jump into a little bit of an advanced section. Let's understand, when we were talking about the content pipeline, there were some status changes happening, and we talked about how an idea moves through the pipeline, right? So what I'm going to do over here right now is I'm going to show you how to implement that and how to start using that. So what we are going to do is, either we can just directly start with add new. It says add new. I can also choose a template. There are lots of templates available. You can pick any of these templates. There are some really, really amazing templates that are available here. So let's say, is there editing? Okay, this is blog editorial. Content. This is a basic content calendar. How does this look? Nice. So there's an idea, it goes in progress, review, etc., and it keeps moving. There are different views to this particular template as well. But I'm not going to be using that. What I'll be doing here is I will use this option called table. Now, when I create table, demo table, BB, so I've just given a name and I've created a new database table over here. Now, this is a very simple, plain Excel-like table, right? Google Sheets or Excel-like table. But I'm going to change the view of this table over here by clicking on this button here and then clicking on Edit View and then going on the layout, and then I'm going to change this into a board. Okay. Once I click and change it into a board view, then I'm going to start adding a certain elements over here. So let's say I'm going to add idea, and then what exactly happens to an idea? As we saw in the previous example of my own content pipeline, the idea is then picked or selected, or you can say up next, after which this particular idea is then written upon or researched, after which that idea is then recorded, and once the recording happens, it goes into a new pipeline, which is the editing pipeline, and we will be building the editing pipeline as well on this call itself. Editing, once it's edited, then we have, what do we have? Let me quickly open a tab so that I can see my pipeline as well as create one for you all. Yeah, so after it is edited, then most probably at the time of recording we add thumbnails, but then the finalized thumbnail is added at this stage. After the edits are completed, the thumbnail is selected and it is put up on this particular piece of content. And then if there is any kind of background music, VFX, that gets added over here, because sometimes the editing team does not add the background music and we have to add it separately. The team that posts these videos adds it. So we can skip background music for here, because I would consider that as part of editing pipeline when you people are actually implementing it. And then the idea becomes ready to post, and then it is partially published and then fully published. So let me explain what that is. So once everything is done, all the checklists are covered, then ready to post, and then we have partial posted, and then fully posted. And sometimes some video might go through all of these stages till editing, thumbnail, and might be ready to post, but still for some reason we might have to cancel that post. So we have like one extra column here for cancellations. Now let's take, these are some dummy objects that have been created. Whatever does not have any tag, I'm going to hide that. So now we have the idea over here. So now let me create one idea. Let's say I'm going to compare DJI mic versus Rode mic. My experience. I want to share this particular piece. I want to create one. This is an idea, and I want to create content on this particular idea. So if I click on this particular piece over here, it has certain tags, but this is not exactly a tag. This is a status. Okay, so I'm going to change the status. Now you must be wondering what is the status and tag and everything, like what's happening here. So what's happening here is whenever you create any item within a table, that item has a lot of properties that can be attached or associated with that item. So the example of those properties are given here. So you can have text, number, select, multi-select, status, date, person, file, media, checkbox, URL, email, phone, formula, relation, roll-up, created time, created by, last edited, and last edited by. So all of these properties can be tracked. Some of them can be filled automatically through the software itself, and some of them require a person to like literally manually go fill them in. Now with the AI automation, you can actually automate the entire filling up of all of these properties as well. So for this particular example, the status is going to be a very static status. What it means is it's going to be a single status. It's not going to be a multi-select status. So I'm going to make that into a single select. And now here are all the options. If I would like, I can change the colors of all of these options as well. Okay. Now, apart from the status, what are the different details? What are the different properties of this particular piece of content that I would like to track? So that everyone in the team that is working on this particular project is aligned and has clarity on what they need to do next. Okay, so type your answers in the chat, and while you're typing your answers, I am going to quickly come back. I forgot my water bottle, and it's like very important to keep yourself hydrated. So if you also forgot your water, just go get a bottle, take a sip of your favorite juice or whatever, and I'll see you back in like a minute. And in the meantime, do type what do you think are the different properties that you need to track for a particular piece of content. So I'm back. I hope you all got your water bottles or you drank, had some snack, and you're all back. So, as I was saying, what are the different properties that you would like to track over here? I didn't see anyone commenting yet. So, if you're watching this video not on the live but in the future, you can still go and type what are the different properties that to be tracking for any piece of content. So some properties that are there on the top of my head at this point of time are the publish date. When does this particular piece of content gets published? Okay, so we can have this date property. Then who is the person responsible for, you know, changing the status of this particular piece of idea. You can also call them as manager. Okay. Assigned to, that would be an easier way to understand. So don't worry if you by mistake click on a different property, you can always edit that property and then you can go back here and then you can select person. Then what else do we want to track? So yeah, which platform is this piece of content going to go for? Platforms, and then we can fill in, let's say, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Uh, okay, I made a mistake there. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and we can just delete this one. So we have all of these four options. So I have chosen multi-select here instead of a single select because I would like to use maybe let's say Facebook and LinkedIn, so I can select both of them together. And what are the different properties that we track in Branding Bump? We have quite a lot of properties, don't get overwhelmed, but we have an owner, we have the type of video or whatever type of content, we have options like written content, carousel, long video which is a vertical video, long video which is a horizontal video, teaser video, short video, podcast series, stories. These are different types of content types that we have been capturing. The owner, which is who is owning that particular piece of content at any particular given point of time. This is a roll up. This is a little bit more advanced property, which I will dive into in a short while. Status. So these are the status: potential idea, next up, researching, recording, editing, thumbnail, BGM, partially published, published, cancelled, and ready to post. Next action date. So it's not necessary that just the published date is important, but what is the next action happening? Is it going to an editing team member? They're starting to cut down on the raw videos. Whatever that next action is happening, the next action date is attached here. Then the published date, which we just spoke about. Then we have the tags. Hmm. Tags are nothing but hashtags or keywords. Right now, we are not using it so much. This is actually FF content pipeline. Okay, my bad. That was for fine flow. That is why we could see different type of content there. But ideally, it is branding bump content pipeline that we work with. It's very similar. Everything is almost same here. The output types are a little bit different. We have 4:5 video, carousel, horizontal landscape, listicles, podcast, short video, square video, stories, teaser, vertical portrait, written long format, written threads, and written tweets. Then repurpose for. This is basically the channels that we post the content on. Facebook groups, pages, indie hackers, Instagram, Google, Medium, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Product Hunt, Quora, Reddit, Threads, TikTok, WhatsApp, YouTube, Twitter, website, and oh, WhatsApp got repeated twice. So let me just actually delete that and make some corrections to my pipeline as well. Now, this is completed posting. So what happens is sometimes you remember when I was talking about the partially published and fully published. So there's a possibility that we might have already posted it for on, let's say, Facebook group, Facebook page, and Pinterest, but let's say it was supposed to be posted on these five platforms. So if I've already posted on three of these platforms, let's say Facebook groups and Facebook page, I can just track that, okay, there's a pending on Pinterest, Quora, and Reddit. That is why we have kept these two options over here where we select where and all it has to go and where and all it has already gone already. And when I say gone, I mean posted. Next action date, publish date, which we already spoke about. Value rating. So this is something that I devised as a means to understand like which piece of content can be actually valuable for people. for our audience specially. So I just took this 6-star system instead of a 5-star, because what happens with the 5-star is I somehow always end up giving it 3-star, but with the 6-star I have like one more extra. And if I would like to say something is like 50% of quality, then I can choose 3-star. This is one of our team members, so he's actually someone who also rates it, so that we have two rating systems in place over here. We have content type, we have lots of content types: actionable, analytical, challenges, comic strips, common. So you can actually sit and just go through all of this. You can pause the video and you can see through this. um, what else do we have here? We have hook style. Is it a question? Is it a challenge? Is it backed by some kind of research? Is it a negative spin? Is it a positive spin? Are there numbers involved? Is there an experience here? Is it just some social proof that we are giving? So what exactly is the hook style? Value rating we already spoke about. And then what are the different content topics, like AI tools in content, body language, coaching, content creation, tools, pipelines, distribution, entrepreneurship, equipments, makeup. So all of these different topics that we will be speaking about on a regular basis are also listed here in the multi select format. Which format? Is it something that is created to sell one of our services or product, or is it something that's created to pull people in and establish ourselves as an authority figure? Video title, whatever is the title of the video that will be going on the platform itself. Who is the current person that is working on this particular item, and who's the owner is different from the current person working. Then we have knowledge tags, which is nothing but another table that is connected with this table in such a way that whatever different items in any other table have that particular tag associated, I can pull up all of that information from here itself. I don't have to leave this page. Content genre, is it action, adventure, biography, comedy, etc.? So you can actually just take a screenshot of this and start using it. Inspiration figure, there are a few people that I inspire myself from, and these are those people. And you know, which person is this inspired from? Which project is this connected to? Because we have multiple projects running: about Shubham, Fusion Prompts, Branding Bum, two-wheeler ads will also be one project here. Is it connected to any kind of an action item that I need to take, any kind of project that we are running? That we have like multiple. So whatever you saw was the main project, but these are sub projects within projects, right? So which part of project does it impact? The URL where it's posted and the date on which it is being shot. So based on this, I think the key elements are: if it is something that is being shot in terms of a video, so you need to have like a shoot date, and you need to have next action date, very important stuff. And any important notes that you want to capture, you can capture that here. And then so you can say topic or type of content. Let's go with topic and type, both of them. So we'll just choose the topic and we will say multi-select for that, and we'll say type of content, and again we will just change that into a multi-select. So for type we'll say video, we'll say photo, we'll say maybe a thread, a carousel, or a blog post. So these are the different types of content that we can create using this entire system. Topics, we can just choose entrepreneur, marketing, design, content. So these can be like the top topics that we can select whatever is that particular piece, we can select it over here. So now let's start filling in all of these properties for this piece of idea that we just chose. DJI mic versus Rode mic. Okay. So right now these are the people in our team. So let's say I assign it to our teammate Hima. So now Hima will get a notification that this particular piece of idea was assigned to her. Important notes: ensure this is live before the end of October. Okay. And the next action date on this is we are going to start brainstorming on Mondays. So next action date is here, and the publish date is, I have been seeing that the maximum engagement comes on a Tuesday or a Saturday. So I'm going to put it in such a way that on a Friday it gets all the traction and then on Saturday it gets all the boost. So 27th is going to be the date that I'm going to publish it. So if I have to publish it on 27th, I have to shoot it before that. So I have 16th to 27th. So if I shoot it, if I brainstorm everything on Monday, I need one day to prepare, and Wednesday is going to be the shoot date. And then the topic is basically content, because this is going to impact content creators and content creation. And the type of content that this will go out on is a video as well as a blog post. So with this, and maybe I'm going to put it on YouTube as well. So this is how I will capture all the different details of any particular piece of content. Now, let's see, where is this visible? So what exactly happens here is the status that we have, we can change the way that this looks, okay? So I I don't understand like why this exactly changed, because we had created it properly, but for some reason it changed. Maybe there was some glitch in the backend. Up next, um, then writing. Where is writing? Writing. Written research. Okay, it's here. So written research up next, and then it's recorded after it's written, and then we have editing, and then we have thumbnail, ready to post, partial posted, fully posted, and are we missing anything? I think that's about it. So what's going to happen is, if let's say I were to duplicate this, just to give you an example over here, okay, this is V2 or part 2, and this is P3 or part 3. Okay, additionally, we can also have a priority assigned to each piece of content, which can act like a rating system as well as importance system. And we can choose a single select, and then we can say urgent and important. We can say urgent only. We can say important only, and we can say can wait. So basically, these are 4 properties we can take. And let's say the first one, urgent and important, we select. So now what's going to happen is, you can just take this and you can move it up next when you have selected this piece of content. And then you see here, press enter to continue with an empty page. So you click on that and you're like, okay, the outline, the what is it, Why should you care? Point one. Okay, so you can fill these things up. Why should you care? Point two. Why should you care? Point three. And then how to get started and next steps. So this is the overall outline framework, but then you can customize it according to whatever piece of topic you have over here, and you can start working on it from here. Now, this piece of content, let's say if I were to change the status here from idea to written, it would also change here, it would reflect here. So this is all happening seamlessly at the same time. That is the beauty of Notion. Now let me show you how you can change views over here and make this even more powerful. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to duplicate it, and then from here I'm going to take, it's not going to create a new board anywhere, okay? It's not going to create a new table, it's the same table, it's just a new view. Imagine something like I'm standing in front of a mirror and then there is another mirror. So to change the way that I appear, I'm just changing the angle of that another mirror, and now you as a audience are seeing that other mirror and not me directly. So what if I put a filter on that new mirror? What if I broke that mirror and multiplied myself? So I can do a lot of different things with that new mirror, right? So this is exactly how it works. It's actually a mirror image and not the actual image. Although whatever changes you make outside of the image and directly in the table itself will reflect in the original table as well. So let's say I'm going to change this into a different view altogether, and this view is let's say a calendar view. Okay, so now I can take this calendar view and I can go to the properties of this calendar view, and I can say show calendar by publish date. So whatever are the date properties, I can filter it according to that. Next action date, shoot date, publish date. I'm going to keep this as a publish date because this is my publishing calendar. And then I can just take this up and make another view, and I can call this as shooting calendar. If I'm going to be doing that, then what I'll do here is I'll go to the layout, I'll take this publish date and I will change it to the shoot date. Now what I can do here, so today's date is 14th, so the publish date was a different date, so we are just changing that 14th. I wanted to actually not do this, just give me a second. So let's say 27th is my publish date, but my shoot date, if I were to choose the shooting calendar here, it's a very different date, right? Now for these other pieces, I can change. I can have the shoot over here and over here. So when I make these changes, you will also see inside this, the shoot dates have changed. Okay. And then if I go to the publishing calendar and do something similar, it will change everything inside the piece of idea that we had started with initially. So you see publish date 28th. So that is how you can seamlessly start working with your teammates. You can give them a locked access so that they can't make changes to any of the properties except for a few properties within the tables. They can just move things around in the calendar, but not necessarily edit the entire view of the uh, table that you have over here. So I hope this is going well so far. If you're finding it interesting so far, then type the word interesting and I'll join you back in after 3 to 5 minutes of a break. We are already 45 minutes into the live, and you can all take a small snack or water break or something of that sort, and I will see you back in 5 minutes. Enjoy the music and enjoy your puppy show. we are back. I hope you all had your fun and small break. So let's dive into a little bit of more advanced things. But before I get there, I would actually have to build a editing calendar. Editing pipeline. So let me show you how our editing pipeline looks and what all are the different elements within our editing pipeline. So what happens is whenever there is any piece of video that has been shot and there are parts of that video which are not yet connected to anything else at that particular given point, it has no status attached to it. And then whatever are the raw videos that we shoot, they all reside in a very different um, table altogether. There's a very specific reason to do that, because sometimes we batch create our content. So what happens is, let's say we have 1 hour of content, and from that 1 hour of content we have created, let's say, 10 other pieces of content. So in the editing pipeline, only the selected footages are shown and not the raw footages. The raw footages are then shown in a different page, which is the raw videos database. So I'll show you how that looks like. If I were to go to raw videos database, so this is where we follow a very specific nomenclature. We tag and name all of our video shoots and our folders in such a way that our team can work with it on the cloud, okay, seamlessly. So all of this is connected on OneDrive, and I will probably have like one of our live streams dedicated to how we exactly run our entire content creation, which is basically video content creation journey and the workflow using OneDrive, Notion, ChatGPT, and whatever tools that we use over here, because there are a lot of different tools that we use to get uh, this kind of an output that you're seeing on your screens right now. So what we do is, when we have actually done the shoot on any particular given day, then from there we create something called a relational property, a relational database. Okay, we relate two databases with each other. So this raw videos database basically goes and gets connected to a particular element in the editing pipeline. So let's say over here we can see that if you see 22 role of videos in building a brand. Okay, so the original raw video was on the first pre live stream day, like the live stream started on 01 day 01, but on day 0 we had a live stream where there was some content that I spoke about, and I shared this entire raw footage with my editing team. And what my editing team has done from there is they have selected the top parts of that live stream and they have put it all in the editing pipeline over here, and right now they're editing it. So then we have a checklist, and I will also be sharing, all of these checklists with you all. What I'm thinking is I will start putting all of my checklist and Notion templates and all the custom instructions or ChatGPT instructions on Gumroad for free. So what you can do is you can go to Gumroad, fill in your account details if you don't have an account, and you can start downloading all of these checklists and all of the data that I share with you all. Okay, I'll be sharing the link when that update comes up. Now we have all of this naming convention, how the main project folders go, everything. So my editing team picks it up, and then once everything is done and they have gone through all the checklists, then I can click here directly and it opens the original video on my OneDrive, and then I can see it, and then I can tell them what is the next action they need to do based on that. A lot of these are actually roll-ups. What exactly is a roll-up? What exactly is a relational database? And how do these work together with each other in sync? We'll be talking in maybe in one of these live streams that's coming up very soon. I'm not sure on which day exactly I'll be talking about this, but if you type in the chat and you request that you want to see this faster and you're very interested in this, then maybe I'll try to do it faster, okay, in the very near future. But if I don't get any kind of comments and nobody's interested, then maybe I'll do it at my own convenience. So what's happening here is all of these properties we are tracking for any piece of content that is being edited. So which is the format of the video, short or um, horizontal or vertical, basically. What is the next action date, again owner, because see what's happening is we have a separate editing team and then we have a separate content management team. So the content management team has to work on the content pipeline, whereas the editing team has to work on the editing pipeline. If they both overlap, my entire pipeline becomes really, really big and it becomes difficult to manage that pipeline, right? That is why what we have done is we have split these two into two different pipelines. So we track all of these things, and because these are roll-ups, what happens is if there is any kind of change happening in the content pipeline, it automatically shows over here. I don't have to necessarily go and make any changes, and I'll show you how that happens. So say roll of videos in building a brand is the piece of content in the content pipeline, okay, and the type of content over here is, let's say, a carousel. Now what's going to happen, so what I just did over here is I created a relation with the table called content pipeline, and I chose a property called content type, and I said show me the original, although I can choose all of these, but I'm going to say show me original. So as a result of this, yeah, so instead of content type, I chose output type just to show it to you people, but I could have chosen content type. When I choose content type and I go to that particular piece of content and I change, let's say I say comic strip, so you will see over here it automatically shows me comic strip. So it becomes a seamless mechanism, a seamless system that helps everyone stay on track and completely removes redundancy from the system in such a way that we don't have to fill this information time and again in different places. It all just keeps uh, popping up magically whenever, wherever required. So this is the editing pipeline. Now, what is the important part that you need to be aware of in the editing pipeline is the status change. So we have selected footages, then we have pre-cuts, then we add subtitles, then we have audio video effects that we go through, and then we have like a test render, the first render, which is not the final render, and then whatever review and changes that happen, and then the final render, and then it goes back to the content pipeline, from where if you see the content pipeline, there is something called editing here. So once editing completes their task, then they put it, once it's selected, they put it for thumbnails. And then the team picks it up, adds the thumbnails over here, and then after thumbnails are added, we go through a one final check, and then it's ready to post. And from ready to post, the content team or the social media management team picks it up and posts it on all the different platforms by adding all the descriptions, SEO, and all the different things that are required in order for that particular piece of content to go live. Okay, so let me take you through what exactly is this relational database and what exactly is a roll-up and how that is useful. I'll not dive very deeply into it, but I will just touch the surface here just to help you understand what relational databases are. So what's exactly happening over here is I'm going to take up my tab before I jump there. Okay. This was basically your pipeline. Now what we saw here is in the case of the content pipeline, we saw all the different status changes that happen, and I hope you have made notes. If you haven't, then you can watch this live stream again. You can pause and you can make all your necessary notes. We saw what are the different properties that we capture for each piece of content, and what are the important properties that you need to uh, take care of if you want to get like really good high quality content out produced. And we saw how an idea actually becomes a piece of content by the entire content pipeline. Now let's understand what is the importance of relational databases and what they exactly mean. So what happens is, you have one table here and you have another table over here. Now let's say that this is a table called books and this is a table called authors. Now you have another place where there is a library. So this is a library. Now using relational databases, let's say there is a author 1. Okay, I'll name this author Jack, and I'll have one more author called Jill, and they have written two books. One is called Story, the other is called Comedy, and the third one is called Thriller. These are, let's assume that these are the names of the books and these are the authors of the book. Now Jack has written comedy and story, whereas Jill has written thriller. So how are we going to actually track who's written what and where have they written it? So wouldn't it be amazing if, when I'm actually filling in the details for story, at that time I just make one connection saying Jack, and I say one more connection over here saying Jack, and I say Jill over here, and magically on this other table it automatically shows me story and comedy here, and it shows me thriller here. I don't have to fill these details over here, okay, because there is a link that I create with this table, a relationship that I create, and then I can take another table called library, and then I can connect this over here and I can connect this over here, and over here I can say genre, or I can say length, or I can say 10 different other things, and I don't have to fill neither the author nor the books. All I have to do is just call this particular piece of item from here and just show it over here. And in the library I can focus more on the genre and the length and all the different properties that are important from the perspective of a library. So if this was clear, then type clear in the chat, and if it is still unclear, then we are actually going to dive in and see how that actually works in like real life scenario. Okay, but if it is already clear, then type the word clear in the chat. Let me create a demo table here, one more demo table for you. So we are going to delete this original demo table that we had created, and we are going to create one page. We are going to call this page as, and we have just 5 minutes, so I'm going to quickly do this relational database and uh, roll ups, and then after that we are going to be done for today, and we'll see you again on Monday. So there is one small request. I might not be able to do the live stream every single day of the week. Okay, I need like one day to think, plan, and make sure that the content that I'm putting out on this particular channel is of really high value and it is actually going to add some kind of a significant impact in your lives. And for me to be able to do that, I need to take like one day of rest, recharge, and rejuvenate myself and relax and understand like how can I improve the next coming week. So on Sunday we are not going to be having a live stream, but on all other days we are going to continue as it is. This was an important decision that I've taken, but I hope you'll understand and you'll support me in the same. Okay, so yeah, let's call this page library home, and then let's create two different pages inside of this. So the first one is authors and the second one is books, And let's also create library. Okay, now here is the beauty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a database. I can do it like this. I can create an inline database, or I can take these three pages, select all of them together, turn it into a page, and then I can open one, and then I can turn it into a table, and I can call it demo author. Okay. Oops, there was a mistake here. Okay, demo author. Okay, I actually misclicked and it has now, it's not allowing me to change it. 1 second. So how this exactly works is I do this and I say page and I call it author, and then I convert it into table and I call this demo author, and then I click on new database demo author. Okay, so it's demo author over here. This is library. I go and I do the same over here, table demo library, and I say new database, and then I do the same over here, books table demo books, and I create a new one over here. So now what happens is I can take all of these, select them, and not actually be able to change them still. Mm, I can turn it into inline. So what is the meaning of inline? It is just going to show in the same line. It is not going to be a separate block or a separate page. I'm changing that into inline, and I'm changing this also into inline, and I'm changing this also into inline. So you saw what exactly happened here. The pages that we had created inside are now visible over here directly. I don't have to go click on the page and then open my table. Instead, I can see all of them together over here. Now in the demo books, I'm going to put the names of the demo books that we had. Uh, the names of the demo books were not very clear, so I'm going to just use better names. How to use a towel. Okay. Photo framing basics, and then writing funny things. And this is the library. We'll get here also, but first we can drag and drop these tables. Okay, so in the author we are going to have the same name: Jack, Jill, Daniel. Okay, so these are our three authors. Actually, we'll just have two authors. We don't really need three for this example to understand. Now how to use a towel is written by Jack or Jill. Let's say Jack has written how to use a towel, and how to writing funny things is also written by Jack, and Jill has written photo framing basics. But you don't see any kind of an item property over here which is connecting them, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to come here, say edit property, and then select this type of property, and then we are going to select relation from the tab over here, from the drop down, and then we are going to say demo author, and then what exactly is happening here? Are we creating a single link where the demo books are shown on the demo author, or are we creating something in such a way that it shows on both the places? So if you say show on demo author also, then the books will be visible on the demo author. So if I say this, now it's a two-way relationship. Okay, it's just like how we have relationships between humans, right? Something of that sort only. When you know that um, your brother, when I tell you about your brother and you have a relationship with your brother, you can easily recall and recollect all the different traits of your brother, right? So in the same way, this is how relationships work here in Notion. So I say add relation. Now what happened when I did that? You see on authors, it showed me demo books here, and tags just got changed and converted into a relation. This symbol of an arrow came up over here. So I'm going to call this author. Okay, and now how to use a towel? If you see, Jack and Jill were the two options, and they just popped up over here, which was not there before. So I says Jack, And the moment I select Jack, without me doing anything, you see the book changed. And when I say photo framing basics and I select Jill, see here carefully in the demo books over here. See, it changes automatically. I don't do anything. I just change this and this changes here. And now, if let's say I had something called in my library, I had some tags called genre, which was, let's say, comedy, horror, or film. Okay, so these were some tags. So I can give some properties over here, and I can say, I can add a new property and I can say create a relationship with the books. Okay, and I just want it to be visible on the demo library and I don't want it to be visible on the books page. So I just say demo books over here, and once I select this, then on my demo books I'll have to go and enable the property. Okay, we actually chose not to view it on the books page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this, how to use a towel, photo framing basics, and writing funny things. And I'm going to give it a tag. How to use a towel is comedy, photo framing is film, and writing funny things. Okay, how to use a towel is horror. Okay, and funny things is comedy. And I'm going to say this is basically kept at the entrance shelf. So shelf 01, this is kept on shelf 02, and this is kept on shelf 03. Now this is where the magic is going to happen. If I come here and I select this property called roll up, okay, then I select the relationship is from the books, then I can say what is the name of the author. So without having to do anything and just connecting the books to the author, I could directly see the author name in the library page. So this is how you can start implementing and using relationships and roll-ups within databases of Notion to make your life very, very easy and smooth and completely eradicate redundancy in your workflows and your operating systems. So I hope this was helpful. If you still have doubts, you will for sure be able to find in-depth videos explaining these concepts on YouTube. I will be also trying to make more videos on these topics so that you can understand in simple and entertaining ways with Branding Bomb. And if you found today's session useful, then I request you to share it with at least one person that you think can be benefited from this entire session. Someone who's maybe an entrepreneur struggling with their business, or even if they have a business that's going well and they want to start creating content, or they're already creating content but they want to make better content in a seamless way and they're struggling with content creation, maybe an influencer or someone who's trying to become a content creator. So share it with that person and grab some good karma. And I'm your friend, your host, Branding Bomb, Shubham, and I will see you again in the next video on Monday. uh, it's a surprise what topics we are going to be bringing, because honestly even I don't know what topics we'll be talking about yet. But whatever the topic will be, it will be fun, interesting, and packed with value. So I hope you are enjoying this series of 75 days challenge. Show your support and motivate me by liking this video. If you have any questions, type them in the comments and I will personally pick up all of the comments and answer them either in the live stream or in the chat itself. So once again, take care, have fun, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you soon in the next live stream. Take care. Bye bye.